Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Diane. So in this video, we're going to make this tie-dye pattern design in Photoshop. I'm going to show you how to create a digital tie-dye pattern in Photoshop. We're also going to be using one of my tie-dye brush sets. It's digital tie-dye Photoshop brushes volume 4 and walk you through some of these brushes and how to use them in Photoshop. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So I found an image that I want to color sample from, these rainbow colors here. I opened this in Photoshop and then I dragged it on the left side here until you see this blue line appear, so that you can kind of get the canvas side by side together like that, so it makes it easier to color sample from the left image. Click back to this right canvas with the white background. We'll create layers here just so that we can add each of the shapes in separate layers, so that if we decide to change the color or move it in a different position, we can go ahead and do that. And choose the eyedropper tool, and we'll choose the red here. We'll toggle back to B for our brush. I actually chose the outer large ring, and so we'll start with that as a red color. And I want to increase the size of the brush, so I'm going to press the right bracket tool. Once you get it to the size you want, go ahead and click. We'll choose the inner ring spiral, and you can just toggle between the eyedropper tool and choose the magenta color or whatever color you want on this sample image that we have. We'll go ahead and choose the inner ring spiral. Most of the brushes I create are just a base to start your design from. You can always cut up the shapes, you can move them around, you can even use the smudge tool to blend them in a little bit better with each other, and we'll go over that towards the end of this video. Click on our keyboard, make sure we are on a separate layer, and then I want to put that layer above the red one, so we'll go ahead and click. You notice these brushes aren't exactly perfect and they're meant to be just shape. It's up to you if you want to go ahead and blend them in a little bit more. So what I want to do is kind of keep it at this size. We'll blend everything together at the end. What I want is this magenta color to wrap around this spiral here. We'll create a new layer. I've got some brushes that come with this set that are like half rings, and there'll be like ring extensions here. So we'll choose this one right here, inner ring spiral extension. Make sure that we are on a separate layer. We'll go ahead and click there, and I'll press V to move this around, or Command T. I'm just going to go ahead and enlarge this size so that I get a variation. There you go. What you could do is you can press Command J on your keyboard to duplicate that current layer you're on. I just duplicate it, move it down, and I press Command T so that I can transform it and resize. It's not going to be exactly perfect, and that's fine. We can refine the design later. Right now, what we're actually doing is we're just getting the layout of how we want to place things. Let's go ahead and duplicate this. We'll make everything blend together in the end of this video, so we'll go ahead and do that. And then I think I want to do it one more time. Command T to move this. We'll increase the size just a little bit, and I'll make it off the canvas. We'll go ahead and do that. I think I'm going to want the red to be the layer above everything else so that it kind of overlaps the magenta. Now that we've gotten this design, let's go ahead and do one more. And then we'll decrease the size a little bit. We'll move it over here to the corner. There we go. The next color that I want to choose is the blue. We'll color sample the blue. What we'll do is create a new layer, and then we'll do a brush, outer rainbow, so that it's a little bit thinner and we can kind of go in. I think I want it to be somewhere here. Make sure you're on a separate layer, and then we'll go ahead and click, and then we'll just increase the size. We'll move this, so I kind of want it here, so like increase the size just a little bit. And again, these brushes are not meant to be perfect. You can always blend these. So I kind of like the way that look. Create a new layer. The next thing that we want to do is we'll choose one of these rainbow extension brushes. Choose this one, and it's a little bit smaller, but you can always increase the size of this. Command T, and then go ahead and increase the size so that we can have it go all the way around. You can take the lasso tool. I will take a couple of the brushes on the end, Command to move this around here. You could also do Command T to move that. You notice here on this left side, I have this area here that is kind of out of place. And so I'll go back to that layer and I'll take my lasso tool. I don't want this shape right here on the bottom, so I'll just go ahead and cut that out and delete. And then now we can go in, take these last couple of shapes, and we can kind of zoom in a little bit. We see what we're doing here. So I'll go ahead and cut this out, Command T, and I'll move it. I'll decrease the size so that I can fit it with the design here, take out whatever I don't want. The next thing I want to do, so now we can really think about, okay, well, what other colors do we want to add to this? I definitely want to add a little bit of the turquoise and then the green down here, and also going into the yellow and the orange, and we'll go ahead and do that and choose a different brush this time. For the turquoise, I think I'm going to choose the inner ring spiral extension. We'll go ahead and make a new layer, and we'll just click, we'll do Command T to transform the shape. We'll go ahead and place it up here. So I kind of want the turquoise to be behind the blue. So I'll drag the layer down here, and you can see some of these shapes will start to kind of bleed together. You can also change the layer blend mode. So if I did multiply, the colors will start to change depending on some of the blend modes that you choose for the layer. You start going through the different layer blend modes to get different effects, and that's totally fine as well. But for now, let's go ahead and leave it at the normal layer blend modes. I want to duplicate the turquoise layer just so that we can repeat this across. And if you want to get a variety, you can do Control, click, flip horizontal. You can also increase the size of this. So I'm just going to do Command Z. I'll try it again. I'll go ahead and do Command T and flip horizontal again and place that here. And if you want it to curve up slightly, move this up a little bit. I want the turquoise to kind of go around this way. I'll click on this one here and I'll do Command J to duplicate that layer, and I'll move it all the way to the left and then duplicate it again and one more time. Now I want this red to kind of continue over and overlap this way. So I'll also take this last layer that I moved and I'll do Command J and I'll move it close to the red, and this is what we're actually going to do. To save time, I'll double click that layer and we'll go to color overlay. We'll choose the color and we'll sample the red over here, click OK, and there you have it. So I'll go ahead and speed up this part of the video and then we can talk about it at the very end. All right, well, now that we have our finished tie-dye design, I'll take all of the layers and group them into one folder, and then I'll name that Layers Editable, just in case you want to make changes to it in the future. We'll duplicate the group. On this one, what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and turn off the bottom layer. And so now that we have this new group, we'll go ahead and select these all. So we'll go ahead and merge the layers into one design. My other trick to show you is, if you watched in other videos, I do use some of Kyle's brushes that you can get for free on the Adobe website. I have Kyle's brushes already installed. What I like is the Mega Pack. So at the very bottom, the brushes are blenders, so there's smudge brushes. I will take some of these brushes and smudge out areas that I want to blend. I like to use the softer wet blender. I like to blend some of these just so that it's not so stiff, depending on what you want to achieve for your design. But I like to blend some of these shapes together just to make it a little bit more authentic. I know this is all digital. It's not going to be the same as original tie-dye. Tie-dye is beautiful, don't get me wrong. But if you're comfortable with Photoshop, I highly recommend trying out these tie-dye brushes. I think that they will make your design process speed up just a little bit and you can get more done. If you were designing a collection or designing for clients and that kind of thing, you can go ahead, use these brushes, create some really awesome designs.
Alright, so here's our final design. So I kind of messed up here with the red, and so what you can do is you can always paint that back in, and so I'm just going to choose one of Kyle's brushes. I typically like the watercolor broad wash. I'll just eyedrop this red one, and then I'll just go ahead and paint it back here. For this one, I feel like I needed to add a little bit more red here, and then I can smooth it out again with the actual smudge tool. Sometimes we do a little bit of tweaking to get the exact design that we want. I'll go ahead and choose the softer wet blender and blend some of these parts so that they're not jaggedy. So just a recap of the process we did in this video. What we did was we created all of the brushes in separate layers, and then we grouped them in one folder, and we duplicated this folder, and then we turned off the original layer where we have our design, so it's this one, and then we duplicated that group, and then we merged all of the layers, and then we used the smudge tool to blend the design a little bit better. And so just kind of for comparison's sake, this was our original layout that we have the editable layers, and then our final design is this right here. If you enjoy this video, please smash the like button.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you learned something out of this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And I'd love to see some of the tie-dye creations that you make in Photoshop. So please drop a comment below, share some of your links. I'd love to see them. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.